What's going on, family? How you doing? I know it's been a long time since I've been on here to talk to my community, and it is for a reason that has been the case. And I'm not going to go over the same reason over and over again as I stated before why I have taken a break from social media. But I came on today because we have to have a conversation. I've been gone for some time, and that's all I've been doing is watching and watching and watching our community. So it brings me to the state of where we are as a community here in America. And I would like to talk about some things because I honestly do feel that our community is possessed. Possessed. Yes, I said it. I honestly feel our community is possessed. We are under control psychologically. Some of us don't even realize that we are fueling our own demise. We already know the system has funded it, but we are fueling it. We are buying into it and we are keeping it going. So we're going to have a conversation. I love to see all of you guys come in. Hello to everyone. Stand up, be counted, DJ Connect, Sugar Mama, Gwendolyn Bard. Hello to all of you guys, Virginia woman. I love seeing all your faces on there. I know I've been gone, but y'all gonna have to do me some favors to go ahead and get this video out there. So you're gonna have to share it. Whether you are on Facebook or YouTube, you're gonna have to share it because my channel has not been active. So I'm gonna need you guys all to share it to bring us back into the loop here. And I'm not gonna make any promises about coming out and being consistent, being consistent because being consistent is draining because I'm just so hurt by our community. I'm just being honest with y'all today. So if you're not here to have an honest conversation, this is not going to be the video for you today. If you don't want to talk about things that we need to talk about, this is not going to be the video for you today. If you want to hear me yell, scream, curse, act a fool, this is not going to be the video for you today. If you want to see me get angry just about white America and racism and all this other stuff, this is not going to be the video for you today. So I'm just forewarning you that all the other rhetoric and nonsense that comes in the chat when I don't say things that people want me to say and they want to hear, this is not going to be the video for you. So you can just go ahead and do yourself a favor and log off, but share the video before you log off because it just is not going to be for you. So let's go ahead and get into it. As I stated, we are being possessed. I'm convinced that our community is possessed. I'm going to start with the music. Okay, I'm not going to go into long talk about the music, but I'm going to start with the music. I don't know how they are picking artists in today's day and age, but they're picking them intentionally. The artists have become worse and worse and worse. The artists are trash. The music is trash. And I know they're doing it because as we know, especially when it comes to our community, our community has been moved by music since the days of slavery, okay? And even before then. For all throughout our history here as a people on earth, we have been moved by music. Music is very therapeutic for us. Music is something that we can communicate a message without a conversation. Are with me? I mean, I know I'm just talking to the choir, right? Y'all all know about this already. But we can communicate a message without a conversation through music. We already know during the days of slavery how we talked about meetings we were going to have, how we talked about tonight is going to be the revolt. We're going to kick some you know what tonight. It was all through singing and music. So what people, the other people, have realized by studying our population is that music matters to us. Music matters to us. It doesn't matter what kind of music is. Music matters to us. Now, I'm not saying that music doesn't matter to other people. Let's get that clear. We're not talking about other people. We're talking about us. Music matters to us. And it has the ability to control us and possess our minds. We already know that. That is the avenue for us to communicate. It has been the avenue for us to communicate for many centuries. And we still communicate through music. So what's up with our lyrics, family? What is up with our lyrics, family? What is going on with the types of music we are promoting? We are allowing to flood the airwaves. We are allowing to flood social media. We are partaking in it. We are streaming it. We are playing it. Our children are dancing to it, and we are recording our children dancing to it, and we are putting them on social media. Music, the artists that are sending the message through the music is toxic to our community, and they are taking over mind waves. And it doesn't matter how old you are. Many people's minds are being possessed through the music. The other day I was on social media. I think I was on Instagram because that's where I'm usually at. So if you haven't already been following me on Instagram, that's where you want to go. But I was on Instagram, and it's like this old folk retirement type of social media page that comes up on my feed every now and then. And there's a woman who appears to be Black, because you got to be very careful with what you're saying now, right? Anybody can be Black nowadays, and nobody want to be Black nowadays. It's just so crazy. But she appears to be Black, and her husband is on there too, who appears to be Black. And then there are mostly other white people in these videos, or at least they appear to be white, because you just never know. Black people look like white people too, but you just never know nowadays. But they appear to be white. And they're in a nursing home. And every video they come up with is to one of the hip hop raunchy songs, and they're always doing something. And everyone's like, yes, I want to be like that when I get old. Why? Why do you want to be like that when you get old? Why? Why do you want to be an old rapper, twerker, throwing up cash? This is the videos that are out there. I wish I remember the name of their site. If anybody else know who I'm talking about, put the name of their page so y'all can go and check it out for yourselves. Don't take my word for it. But that right there, to me, is a sign that music is controlling the minds of many people. But why is it destroying our community? See, other people are using our music, so to speak. They're using our music that is primarily delivered through our population of people. They're using our music so they can make their viral videos, right? They got a lot of views in these videos using our music, twerking. And I'm starting to get the feeling that they're actually teasing us, right? Even though their videos go viral, when you see white girl with her white husband in the kitchen twerking to something that, you see us twerking to. Not that twerking. I am by no means promoting twerking, by no means. But they try to make these videos to be very cute, very cute. And it has crossed over into those populations for the purpose of going viral. But do you think that they're running around in their community being hypersexual or hypersexualized? Do you think that they're running around in their community having multiple babies without having both their parents in the home, without being married? Do you think that they are running around their communities doing that? Do you think that they are running around their communities acting a fool in restaurants, cussing people out, flashing people their breasts, flashing people their behinds? Do you think that they're running around in their communities doing that? Or do you see us primarily doing that? Somebody said your puppy is having so much fun. Yes, he has his little squeaky toy. So if y'all hear squeaky toys in the background, it's my puppy. So it's a matter of just having him here with me, or put him in his crate where he'll start screaming and howling. So he's right here with me so I can talk to y'all uninterrupted, right? But back to the program. Other communities are using our music because our music tends to be very popular, very catchy, very, very contagious. So they're using it to promote their pages, their popularity, but they're not being possessed by it. And they're not going into their communities, allowing our music to transform the way they have relationships with each other, the way they have relationships with their children, with their partners, with their families, with themselves. They're not doing that. They're not doing that. But instead, we are getting fly-by-night artists that are popping up. They're hypersexualized. They're promoting drugs. They're promoting violence. They're promoting sexual promiscuity. They are promoting having children without marriage. They are promoting a lot of things that are toxic to our community. Now, I know I'm going to say some things that get people upset, and people will become red herrings. You know what a red herring is? You know what that is? I'll tell you. Some of you guys know, some of you don't. It doesn't matter. But let me tell you what a red herring is. It's when you go off track, right? You come in to interrupt the conversation to try to take it to a different direction. And a lot of times we do that. And I know that there's going to be somebody that's going to come on as a red herring, and they're going to try to take what I say, just a little piece of information that I say, and they're going to take it in another direction because they don't like what I am saying. But it's true. You may not want to be married and have a child. That's fine if that's for you. But let's not deny the destruction of our families is very problematic in our community. Let's not deny it. Let's not deny it. The fact that we are hypersexualized and we're promoting things through our music about creeping, sleeping around, having a side piece, having a sneaky link, that's problematic. That's problematic. The fact that our music is promoting that you a bad bee, you don't need a man for anything, do your thing, is problematic. The fact that we're promoting that you can do whatever you want to do, F everybody else and what they have to say, this is your life, live your life, who cares, is problematic. The fact that we're promoting, if you don't like your body, change it. If you don't like your hair, weave it. I mean, I'm going to say some things that's going to make people upset. I'm aware of that. And it's not to criticize anyone. I am just basically saying how the language has shifted over the years, how we are sort of deteriorating. We're saying that everything that once made us morally sound is now offensive, no longer necessary, obsolete. And it's better to do whatever you want, regardless how it makes anybody else feel. As long as you are happy. But are you really happy? Are we really happy as a people? Are we really happy as a community? We're not. I'm going to tell you why I know we're not. Let's look at the social media content, family. Let's go over to the social media content. Now, recently, I've been switching up the algorithms on my social media pages because the type of content that comes through my feed is problematic. It's problematic. The content that comes to my feed is destructive, and it shows us in the worst kinds of way. The content that comes through my feed, I don't know what's on your feed, but I want you guys to let me know. But the content that comes to my feed is violence. And typically, at the butt of it is our people. And so you cannot blame. Listen to what I'm saying, y'all. I know some of y'all not gonna like what I'm saying. That's okay. That's okay. But we need to have critical discourse, right? We need to look at this thing from multiple angles, right? This is my sidebar conversation for just a second. We have to look at these things from multiple angles because what we have been doing as a community, we get so caught up on one way of thinking. We're very dichotomous in our mindset. One way of thinking, that's what dichotomy is, right? One way of thinking, either or, either or. If it's not this, then it's that. No, no. There are multiple perspectives, multiple ways of seeing things, but we get so caught up in a one-way message. A one-way message. We like it delivered one way. We like it delivered rough. We like it to deliver with a lot of profanity. Now, y'all know I cuss. I ain't gonna sit up here and make it seem like the doc doesn't cuss. The doc cuss, but the doc's language is not polluted with cuss words. You know what I'm saying? It's not. It's not. But it seems like we don't tend to get the message unless somebody is presented in a certain way. Aggressive, oppositional, confrontational, controversial. We like that kind of language in order for us to listen. Because if it doesn't sound that way, we tend to tune out. So I know you're not going to like what I'm saying, but y'all just got to follow me for just a second, okay? We can't be dichotomous in our thinking. We are responsible for what we are putting on social media. I'm not talking about mainstream media. I'm not talking about mainstream media. We already know mainstream media is biased. But listen to what I'm saying. I had to change me. I'm not talking about you. I had to change the algorithm on my social media page because the amount of violent content that comes through that has our face or our faces is problematic. Problematic. We are showing a lot of violence on social media and we share it at record numbers. We laugh at it. We make jokes about it. It is disturbing at record number. Read some of the comments. I'm like, we are disturbed. Our minds must really be possessed. We are disturbed, family. Disturbed. On social media, we are also sharing disgruntled communication. Kendrick, give me a second. I'm going to read your comment, but let me get through this content right here real quick. We are sharing disgruntled communication. We are at odds with each other. We are sharing language that tears our community down. We make fun of each other. People who do not show up or fit the type of mindset that we want our people to have, we say nasty things about them on both sides. It doesn't matter your educational level. It doesn't matter your economic level. It doesn't matter your community you live in. It doesn't matter whether you're light skinned or dark skinned. We are toxic in our communication. We are toxic in our communication. And that's all I see on social media coming up in my feed, and I had to change it. I see nothing but racial divides coming up in my feed on social media. And we don't see how this actually hurts us to have these types of conversations on social media. We want to talk about who's dating who's this kind of black person, who's that kind of black person, who has a white husband, who has a white wife, who is a sellout, who is a whore, who is a slut, who is dusty, who is a bum. That's all we talk about. A lot of racial divides, not only within our community, but also outside of it. We attack and talk about everybody. And it's getting played out for me. If it's not going to be critical discourse, if it's not going to be discourse that actually uplifts, I don't want to be a part of it. We have a lot of toxic communication that keeps us in a sleeping state, but yet we say we are woke. Yet we say we are conscious. We're woke and we're conscious, but we're not able to organize like we used to do. We're not able to get things done where it impacts our whole entire community like we used to do. I'm not saying that some things aren't happening, so don't misunderstand me. I know there are small pockets of us that are doing things that are powerful. I'm not saying that's not happening small micro levels, but macro as a whole, across, where it is a movement. No, we are not. We are not. We are not. We are not. We have a lot of thought leaders. We have a lot of people that have a platform with a powerful voice that says how much they are doing, but they are not moving the community. They are not. They are not. They are also taking part in a lot of toxic rhetoric. And it has done nothing to bring us together as a community, because when you say toxic things, people are turned off. The racial divides are sickening in our community. Hypersexuality is sickening in our community. And we have made this okay. That's a problem in our community. We are not tearing that stuff down. We are not having a movement against the hypersexuality of our community. You say anything about somebody's free sex form, you get eaten up, you get torn to shreds, you get criticized, and then they cover it or they cloak it with sex positivity. Y'all heard of that term before? Have you heard of that term before? Sex positivity, right? Look it up. I'm not gonna be a red herring and go off on that. Look it up. But you're not allowed to say anything about the hypersexualization of our women and our children. You're not allowed to say anything, because then you, like somebody said, you get canceled. You get canceled. You get demonized. You get attacked. And guess what? The people who are canceling us, who are speaking out against this kind of behavior, the people who are demonizing us, the people who are attacking us are who? Who? Who are the people who is doing these things to us? I'll let y'all tell it. Who? When you talk out against these things, who comes and attacks you and tear you down and calls you all types of names? Yes, we are. Yes, Conqueror, us. Yes, B. Isaiah, we are. Yes, Sterling, our own. This is what we're doing. You tell me we're not possessed. You tell me we are not possessed. We are engaging in content on social media that promotes gender wars. And we think that that's good content. We love to hear about us going back and forth with each other on social media for the whole world to see. And we're attacking each other and we're blaming each other for the decisions that we have made individually that has gotten us in our positions. I know some of y'all not ready to hear that. I know some of y'all not ready to hear that. These are the thoughts and opinions that I'm expressing. They belong to me and solely me. And we don't have to agree with each other, but we have to be able to engage in critical discourse that is not argumentative, that is not attacking each other, that is not hurtful, that doesn't turn to digging up somebody's history, digging up who they are, and then attacking them because you don't like the message, criticizing them because you don't like the message. This is what we do. This is what we do, and I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it every day. It caused me to take the plug out, turn it off. It's crazy. It's crazy. The gender wars are crazy. The celebrity gossip is crazy. We don't care about how our lives are falling apart. We don't care about how we are bleeding financially. We don't care about how we are going to lose our houses, our jobs. We don't care about how our debt is going to be out of control. We don't care about how some people are experiencing repossessions of their vehicles. They're going into default on their loans. We don't care about those things. We don't care about those things. We rather know what the celebrities are doing. We rather be so caught up on Alicia Keys and Usher's performance. This is what we rather talk about. We rather create memes and share it constantly all over social media and talking about this all the time. Not my wife. Half of the people that say not my wife, you're not even married, so shut up. But this is what we talk about. This is so much more attractive to talk about than to fix our issues. And let's not even talk about on social media. That's coming through my feed is a whole bunch of flashy behaviors. Everybody is bowling. Everybody is bowling. Their whole, now listen, let me get this straight. If you go out and you enjoy yourself and you go on vacation or you have an event or you have a special day or whatever the case is, that yeah, absolutely share. We want to see that thing. We want to congratulate you in that. We want to celebrate with you. We should do that, right? But nowadays, everybody is balling. Everybody's saying, F you, I'm rich, I'm this. Everybody is rich now. Everybody is fronting now. Everybody got it going on. Nobody's in poverty. Meanwhile, in 2053, we're about to be zero in our wealth. But everybody is balling. Everybody is balling. We love that. We love that. You don't want to hear anything about anyone speaking their truth about how much they're struggling. You don't want to hear anything about anyone speaking their truth about how their debt is taking over and how they really don't know how they're going to make ends meet and how the economy is ripping their monies apart. They can afford food. They can afford these things. You don't want to hear them talk about that, because then you get on social media, not you individually. I'm just saying what I see, right? You get on social media, then you attack these people. You make poor decision. I don't know what you're talking about. That's not me. That's you. What? This is what we doing now? This is what we doing now? It's crazy. It's bananas. So let's see what Kendrick says. Give me a second, y'all. Let's take a little break. Make sure y'all share the video. If you have not already subscribed to this channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the little bell to be notified, because we're going to have these kind of conversations. And that's what I have been doing. You've been paying attention to how my videos have shifted. They have shifted to this critical discourse because I'm tired of what I'm seeing. So Kendrick says, Dr. Shonna, there's a lot going on or going everywhere, because where I stay at right dealt with my own issues. Dr. Shonna, glad you're speaking out about the situation here. There's so much happening in the world. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that, Kendrick. And yes, there's a lot of us in that have our own situations going on. But you know what? Nobody wants to get online anymore, and nobody wants to share their own struggles to uplift or to help someone else out, or to be real about what they're going through. Because if you say that, if you go online and you tell your truth about your struggles, it says, I don't know why you're saying all of that. People come online, they say everything about their life. Keep that stuff to yourself. This is what we say. It's the craziest thing ever. It's the craziest. I would not have said that. Hell no. Y'all need to calm down, because you rather people lie. You rather people give you fluffy ideas of what they're doing, and everybody good. Everybody good. Everybody good. Let's talk about why we don't see enough critical thought content. Now, I'm not saying it's not there, but it's at a minimum. We don't see enough critical thought content coming from our community. Even when we see some business content that comes to our community to help you with your business or grow a business or start a business, whatever the case is, even when we see that, it's done in a flashy way. I was following this one guy. I'm not going to say his name because y'all know how I do. I'm on my business. I'm not putting nobody out there. People make videos about me. People talk about me. I don't care. I don't do that to other people because I'm above that, right? Low minds talk about other people. And I don't have time to do that, right? But this is a guy I was following on social media. And I was following this brother because his brother has a lot of content related to real estate and how he goes about doing things. And as his membership on social media grew, and as his popularity grew, what I started to notice is this brother became very toxic in his language. Thank you for that, Raymond. Very toxic. Now, Black people that say things that he doesn't like, you're broke BRTCHs, you bums, you ain't got nothing. I pay this much money a month. I got all of this. My daughter don't have to worry about this. My wife don't have to worry about this. So then the content was no longer pertinent to me. The content was no longer healthy, because now instead of you using your platform or your strategy or what you've learned to grow yourself to share and uplift and inspire, you're now becoming like everybody else. You're now attacking. So we can't even have business conversations without attacking each other. It is the craziest thing. And unfortunately, and I'm going to be honest, and I have no problem being honest, unfortunately, I had to start following other people, primarily outside of our community, when it talks about business and real estate. As I try to take my real estate game to the next level, I had to start following them and hearing what they're talking about and getting ideas from them, because we're just doing too much for me. We're just doing too much for me. Like, can we just talk about real estate instead of you talking about bum this, bum that, you got this? I'm just tired. I'm tired. How come we don't see enough robust communication from our people regarding real estate? How come we don't see that? Now, I'm not saying that there aren't some people out there, there are, but do we readily know all the channels that are major in this area that just talk about real estate as it is, showing you stuff? Do we know those? Do we know those people like we know the other popular people who have platforms? Do we know those people in the same way we know the other people? Probably not. Probably not. What about investments? It's funny because Officer Stedman and I don't think I introduced my YouTube family to Officer Stedman, but on Instagram, y'all know who Officer Stedman is. But Officer Stedman and I, of course, Officer Stedman is not his real name. And I can't even tell y'all his real name because our community is so toxic and we so hateful that I want nothing to happen to my partner just because, you know, we don't like the police, right? We don't like the police, but some of us are police and we don't like anybody who's police. So, of course, I have to keep him protected because he needs to come home safely, right? But nonetheless, Officer Stedman and I, we're going through our budget. And we're creating our budget for the year so we can know how we're operating for 2024, where we need to cut at, where we need to get our money right to grow real estate, right? So we have to be able to know these things and forecast these things. So we've been sitting down looking at our budget. And I invest, I'm not going to tell you how much, right? But I invest a certain amount of money every month in my IRA. And I would like to know more about investments. And more than what I know. Now I know a good bit about investments, but not enough to be an expert in it, clearly, right? And not enough to give you guys advice on what you should do with your investments, right? I started out watching Dr. Boyce Watkins. I will say his name. I started out watching Dr. Boyce Watkins when he first started out. No shade. Really no shade. So don't take this as yes. I know who JT Automations is, right? I know who JT Automations is, but the businesses that he teaches about, put it this way, he helps people in the community, but JT Automations is just, you know, I know who he is. And I said his name because yes, if you're starting out and you're one of those people, JT Automations would be where you want to go, right? He's good in that area. But nonetheless, when Dr. Boyce Watkins first started out, I learned the entry levels that I needed to learn about investments from him. Because at that time, when he first started his platform, I wasn't thinking about investments. I did what people did all the time, right? If you're at an employer, if you got a 401k or a 403, you just did what people do. You take a percentage out your check, you put it in there, but no one really tells you about that stuff and how you should be doing it, right? So I learned about the language that I needed when Dr. Boyce Watkins first came out. That's what I'm going to say. When he first came out. And I took that information and I started to put that information into other channels on YouTube, and I learned even more. So I'm consistent. I'm religious with my investments, religious with it. But how many positive channels do we have where we're teaching people about investments and we're having critical discourse about investment? How many channels do we have that we can just speak of? Can we name 10 of those channels right off the bat? Right? Can we? So of course, now I have to go and I have to look at other channels to learn. And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with learning from other channels. There's nothing wrong with it. Right? But I'm saying it'd be nice if we can find a lot of content from our people talking about investments. That'd be really nice. And we can find a lot of content from our people talking about education. A lot of content that's talking about entrepreneurship that is effective. I'm talking about when you could just replace your salary altogether, fire your boss, and you can do well in entrepreneurship. Replace your whole salary, build a team, because that's what we need. That's what we need. I would love to see a whole bunch of content talking about that. I'm not saying it's not out there, but it's not plentiful. Our critical thought content is at a minimum. I would love to see great positive content about family construction. Do we have that out there? No. I would love to see great critical content about mental health. And I can go on and on. But what I'm trying to say in this segment is the content that is out there is very destructive. The content that is out there leads me to believe that we are mentally possessed because it's not constructive whatsoever. It doesn't help us whatsoever. And everyone is watching this. Everybody sees this everywhere. Yes, this is a good one too. This is a good one too. The table with AO, right? It's a good one. So y'all can go ahead and follow that channel too. So thank you for that. Absolutely. Right? Didn't I say at the beginning, sidebar, y'all? I'm just going to put this up here. Not this one. Give me a second. I'm going to put this one up. Is it? No, sorry, y'all. This one right here. It's going too fast. I'm going to put that one up there for a reason. Didn't I say there's going to be a red herring? Didn't I say that? I said that at the beginning of the video. The beginning of this live. There was going to be a red herring. And I told you guys what red herrings are. Here's the problem that I have with that. It does nothing for us. It does nothing for us. What does that do? What does that statement do for us as a community? What does it do? I'm talking about the divide. I'm talking about the wars that we are creating within our own community. I'm talking about this stuff. And what did that do? What did that do? How does that help us? How does that comment advance us? It's just more divide. Didn't I say that? Didn't I say the social media content that we see that comes from us is a lot of racial divides? Is a lot of disgruntled communication? Didn't I say that? It's a lot of negative sentiment. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I can't make this stuff up. I can't make this stuff up. I can't. And people say, Dr. Shonna, where have you been? This is why I haven't been here. It's tiring. Our interaction with each other is so tiring. We have a lot of negative sentiment. Do you know that the research tells us, when I say tells us, I'm talking about those of us who are in the research field as scholars or clinical scholars, primarily clinical scholars who work with couples. This is the research I'm about to tell you, because this is where I'm at. That's my expertise. Do you know the research tells us that for every one negative comment or interaction, you have to immediately follow up with 5 positive ones, because that's how heavy negativity is weighted. Do you get what I'm saying? It's a 5-to-1 ratio. 5-to-1. For every one negative comment, you need 5 positives. Do you see how heavy this is? So if our community has a whole bunch of negative sentiment, that means we lead with the negativity. That means we speak with the negativity. That means what we see first is the negativity. We don't see the positivity. We see the negativity. The negativity we'll highlight. That's what negative sentiment override is in a nutshell. If everything that comes out of our mouth is negative, how much positive do we have to make a difference? You can go up and down this feed and see how many negative comments were said. Now, luckily for this community, we have a lot more positive people than we do negative that engage on this channel. And even on my Instagram channel, we have a lot more positive than we do negative. But do you know how heavy negativity is weighted? And that is the interaction that we have with each other. The interaction that we have, and don't worry, I'm not being a red herring. I'm off that already. I'm back on track, following my track, right? I'm back on track. But do you know that when it comes to the interaction we have with each other, is a lot of negative sentiment. We have a lot of hostility. Ooh, we are hostile, baby. Ooh, child. I wish a ninja would. If that was a community, it would be us. It would be us. It would be us. We always wishing somebody would. It would be us. The hostility, baby, the aggression. I said, what is happening with our minds? What? And it's getting worse. Baby, it's getting worse. Our parents and our parents' parents and our parents' parents' parents, and some of us, like me, our parents' 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 parents did not behave like us, baby. Did not behave like us. Baby, did not behave like us. Nope, not at all. Not at all. See, this is what I'm talking about here. I told y'all there were gender wars, right? I told y'all we love content surrounded by gender war. I have to put it up because this is just proving my point when I talk about our interactions with each other. That's the segment I'm on right now. Our interactions with each other, right? I'm gonna leave that right there because I want y'all to look at that. Women, it's supposed to be women, not women, because women is one, women is plural. And I know that was a mistake, so not calling you out, but I'm just saying. Women have gotten very aggressive, though. See what I mean? What do you think that comment is going to do for our community? What do you think that comment is going to? No, I'm not taking it personal, CM. Don't do that. Don't gaslight. We're not going to do that. Let's take accountability. If I said many of the content that we have out here that's coming from our people, many of the conversation, the discourse that's coming from our community is gender wars and gender divide, what do you think that comment does? Don't tell me I'm taking it personal. I'm not. I'm not. Far from doing that, baby. You don't impact my life. Far from doing that. Officer Stedman loves me. Far from doing that. So you don't impact my life. I'm not negative toward my boo whatsoever. He's my head and I follow him nicely, and I love to do so. Absolutely. Doesn't hurt me one bit. Doesn't hurt me one bit. So no, baby, let's take accountability. That conversation doesn't do anything for our community but cause us to argue and fight with each other. Because now you're going to have some women that would come and say, well, men do it too. You see what I mean? I'm making a point. You see the gaslighting? We are not healthy in this community. This is called gaslighting. That's what that's called. You know, a lot of people use the term gaslighting and people don't really know what it is. I'm giving you guys a real example of what gaslighting looks like. This is what gaslighting looks like. This is what it looks like. And it's sad because it just proves the point about how we communicate with each other, how we engage with each other, and how it actually hurts us. This is what we do all through our social media. All through social media. This is what we do. The gender wars are so sickening. It's so sickening. One negative comment needs 5 positives to override it. We have a lot of negativity in our discourse and the way we communicate with each other. There is a lot of negativity, a lot of aggression, a lot of hostility, a lot of criticism, a lot of judgment, a lot of contemptuous behaviors. If you don't know what contemptuous is, look it up, right? But this is what we do. And this is how our discourse looks. And it becomes very draining. It's very, very draining, right? Our interests in our conversations, believe it or not, they are directed. They are directed. It's done in a manner on purpose to lead and direct what we communicate about. Just like they know how to lead and direct how we engage with each other. That's just like they know how to lead and direct what we listen to, what we watch on television. This is all part of that. The conversation that we're seeing among each other is all part of that. It's done on purpose because it doesn't edify. It doesn't uplift. It doesn't encourage. It doesn't. And we don't realize how much this is done intentionally. You can go on Instagram and you can write something positive and have one word in there that is misread by the AI algorithm. And that comment will be removed by Instagram, Facebook, whatever, right? It'll be removed because by TikTok, it'll be removed because it would say it goes against community guidelines. And nothing you said was offensive. It was actually uplifting. So they'll take that positive comment and it would say it goes against community guidelines and it will remove it. But we can have negative discourse, criticism, devaluing each other, judging each other, contemptuous behavior, all through social media, and it's not removed. It's not removed. And it's not removed because it actually doesn't uplift us. It hurts us, and it's all by design. And so you have to ask yourself, why does the littlest small thing like that gets considered negative, but we can post fight videos among our communities? We can post parents cussing their children out, beating their children in our communities. We can post women smashing into men's cars, destroying the stuff, breaking up his apartment or community. We can post people twerking, being hypersexualized. We can post all of those things. We can post that a man, a black man, has killed a black woman, right? Killed her, killed the family, killed the kids. We could post all of that stuff and it's not removed. It's not removed. But something you post that's actually positive is misinterpreted and is removed because it goes against community standards. Allegedly. Diamond Dave says it's low-level content so successful because it's what the masses have the ability to understand. Are you asking me a question? Because there's a question mark at the end. Are you saying, is it low-level content? Or is low-level content so successful because it was the masses, is what the masses have the ability to understand? Okay, I see what you're saying. Is low-level content so successful because it's what the masses have the ability to understand? I think we could take that question in multiple angles, Diamond, without a doubt. I think we can take it in multiple angles, but here's what I'm going to say. Low-level content, Diamond, just like negativity, is contagious because it weighs more. It weighs more. We already know that. You can post something that's negative online and they'll get millions of views. You post something positive, you'd be lucky if you hit 1,000 views, right? It's just how it is. It's just how it is, right? It's very contagious. It's heavily weighted. That's why I said the research tells us 1 to 5. For every one negative statement, you have to have 5 positive. For every one negative content, you have to have 5. If one negative experience, you have to have 5 positives. It's 1 to 5 ratio. Just think about it. When I tell people who have the inability to manage their emotions, or they're easily offended or easily upset to the point that it moves them to aggression, I say, why do you allow that to interrupt your day? Because what's going to happen is you're going to carry that energy for a long time, because negative energy is harder to shake. It stays, it permeates, it spoils, it rots, it stays, it stays. So the reason why we share that kind of stuff is because it's weighted heavily. But there's so many different conversations we can have with that, right? There's so many different conversations we can have. But that's just my clinical view on it. Now, I'm not going to go off because that'll be a red herring to have that conversation. But I think you raise a very interesting point that needs to be discussed among our community if we can sit through that kind of conversation. So let me talk about this. Why do you think we are bombarded with this negativity, this negative content, this negative communication toward each other, the judgmental communication, the criticism, the full out attack mode that we see? Why do you think that's happening? Well, I have a theory, right? I have a theory. Somebody said they want us to die, baby. That's another conversation. I ain't gonna have that conversation today, but I have a theory. Let me say this. I see what we're talking about in our community, and then I see what the media is talking about. I always like to look at those two things, right? I always like to look at those two things for many reasons. I'm not gonna share that right now why I do that. But the hot topic in the media right now is what? What is the hot topic? Election is coming up, baby, y'all. It's coming up. The hot topic right now is immigration. It is immigration. Very interesting. There's a push for large numbers to come into this country on the fast track process. Fast track coming in. Now, I made an observation. I'm still watching. I'm still watching, or sometimes research and stuff takes a while to hit, but you see everything. The writing is always on the wall. You got to pay attention to the patterns. You got to look at the observations. And here's something that I've been seeing in New Jersey. Now, I'm in New Jersey. I don't know where you guys are at, but I'm going to tell y'all something, what I've been seeing. It seems like every 2.5 seconds, now I'm making that up, 2.5 seconds. It don't be like, well, where's your research on 2.5 seconds? Because everyone wants to be a scholar. But nonetheless, 2.5 seconds, there's a Mexican restaurant popping up. Have y'all noticed that? And they are flashy. They are flashy. They're popular, right? They're very popular. They have taken over the social media world, Instagram, knowing how to bring people into their restaurants. I mean, and they're big, and they employ all of their community. Oh, baby, yes, they do. And I've gone to 2 of these restaurants, 2, maybe 3, in different areas. I've started to notice, oh, wow, that's another one. Oh, that's another one. So I've been going. No, not Mexican wrestlers. Mexican restaurants have been popping up everywhere. And I have, Zanae, girl, Zanae. I'm just saying though. I have noticed they've been popping up. And I go in and I'll have a meal. I'll have a little margarita and I'll just pay attention and I'll watch. And I watch the staff. I watch everything that's going on. And people are just in there so blind, just eating and enjoying themselves. It's everywhere, baby. And these are not restaurants that's like, you know, a little hole in the wall. I'm talking about they are fancy. I'm talking about fancy. I'm talking about, ooh, this is very popular around here. Now, don't get me wrong. We've always had nice little small Mexican restaurants that were small. It wasn't very popular. It wasn't banging. It didn't have DJs in there. It wasn't like dancing. It wasn't anything like that whatsoever. We had Mexican restaurants for a long time. We're not talking about small little Mexican restaurants, mom and pop things, and we coming in and we're going to go have our top. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about high level restaurants. And I said, oh, I wonder, because media is saying, oh, they're all criminals and they're all violent. And I'm sure there are some people who are violent among them too. I'm sure there's violence everywhere. Well, I just got finished talking about violence in our own community. There's violence everywhere without a doubt. But let me tell you, baby, not everyone's coming in like that. Oh, no. No. And where do they get this money from? Just that fast. Where do they get this money from? Just that fast. And they just popping up. These restaurants are popping up left and right, taking over communities, left and right. I said, I already see what's about to happen. And here we are. We're attacking each other. We're fighting. We're arguing. We're criticizing. We're judging. We twerking. We flashing our little things. Like we doing it, baby. We doing it, baby. But they are doing it big. See the difference? You see the difference? Of course, we want them to come in. Come on in. Come in and bring that money. We don't care that money might be. I'm not saying it is. I say I have my theory. I have mine. Might be from the cartels. We don't know. Might be from drug operations. Might be. I don't know for a fact. I'm saying might be. Might be. But let me tell you something. Child, this is by design. None of this stuff is by accident. Not at all. But we so conscious. We so woke. We so woke that we ain't making no movements, baby. We so woke. We so woke. Let me tell you, it seems like, and I'm not saying it is, so don't come in here and say all types of other crazy stuff to me. I'm just saying it seems like the Civil Rights Act was the biggest trick bag. I don't know. I don't know if we had the foresight that we needed to tell us what was about to go down. But the language has so many loopholes through it. The language has so many loopholes, and the language has allowed money to be dished out to everybody else other than what it is or who it was intended for. Others have seriously hijacked it. So I said to myself, I don't know if we saw what was about to go down. Because how could we have seen this so many years? We weren't prudent. We weren't prudent in this. And now everyone is benefiting. And the stuff that they pumping, the information that they pumping into our minds, into our community's minds, doesn't help us one bit. The dream died with Martin Luther King. That's where the dream died. They used that as a prop because they already knew the tide was going to change. Our demise, in my opinion, our demise is a new government operation. And the government is in bed with the people who have these major platforms that we're using to kill ourselves. Social media, music, and all of our narratives are planned. Nothing is by accident. The stuff that we talk about on social media, the stuff that we speak about that is destructive for our community and to our community, those are all planned narratives. We think we came up with this. We didn't come up with this conversation. We didn't come up with none of this conversation. We love to use their talking points to argue with each other. And then we say, it's true, it's true, it's true, it's true. Yeah, it's true because we made it true. We made it true. You know, if you talk about something enough, it will become true. You know, if you believe something enough, it will become true. You know, if you take in all that information and you start to feed on it and live on it and then regurgitate it back into the universe, it will become true. Do you know that? Everybody knows the power of the universe, the energy that the universe gives back. Everybody knows that but us. Now I'm being facetious when I say everybody and all of us, right? I know I'm being facetious, so don't be crazy. Just listen to what I'm saying. Just listen to what I'm saying. Everybody knows that. We are the most praying people, or at least we was. I don't know what's happening now in this world. We are the most Jesus-loving people. At least we were. I don't know what's happening to us now. But we are the most broke people. And most of the people that understands how energy works, what you put out and how you get it back, they understand the true essence of that phrase. Asking, it will be given to you. They understand the true essence of that. It's not how they communicated it in the church to you. It really isn't. It really isn't. They understand the true essence of that. But what we don't realize is that we're speaking over our community in a lot of ways that is hurting our community. When you put it out there, it has to return to you as true. Mo said, broken, broken. Child, broken, broken. Samuel, welcome to the community. Thank you for that, brother. Broken, broken. It's crazy. We don't realize these planned narratives. You talk about your gender wars. You talk about the promiscuity. You talk about single motherhood. You talk about deadbeat fathers. You talk about all this stuff that we constantly talk about all the time. What do you think happens with that information? You're putting it out there in the universe. The universe is going to give you back exactly what you talk about. And if you don't understand that concept of how it works, we are in trouble. We are doomed. We are doomed. We are doomed. We got to watch what we're talking about. That planned narrative is on purpose because the power that be knows everything starts with a thought. Everything that has been created in this world is a thought. That's how it started. Somebody thought about what it would look like to fly in the air, and boom, the airplane is created. Somebody thought about what it would look like to have a car to commute because horses are just not to move anymore, and boom, a car is created. Every thought you put out there in the universe will be returned to you, pressed down, shaken over, overflowing, because the universe does not discriminate. The universe does not discriminate. The universe gives you exactly what you put out. Gives you what you need to put out. So therefore, I try to monitor what I listen to. I try to monitor what I speak about. I try to monitor how I attack people. I try to monitor those things, how I deliver the information. I try to. I'm not perfect, but I try to do that because I know the universe will give me back what I put out. And right now, the narratives that we have out there from so many of us, it's not healthy. It is not healthy. The narratives that we put out there hurts our community. And look at the state that we are in. We are hurt. We're hurt. We're hurt. It's so easy to look outside of ourselves and blame everybody else. It's so easy for us to look outside ourselves and criticize everybody else, including criticizing our own. It's so easy to do that. But do you know what you do to yourself when you do that? I know some people get it. I know some people won't. But I'll tell you one thing, that our narratives are turning people against us, and our narratives are turning us against us. And it's perfect. It's the perfect formula. It's a perfect formula because it keeps us from effectively organizing. When was the last time we had an effective organization where we organize across the country in an effective way? When was the last time we did that? I'm asking a question. I'm not being funny. I'm not being like, I know the answer, you don't. No, I'm really asking, when was the last time we did that? When was the last time we had effective organization? A1 recording says before I was born. I'm asking a critical conversation. Effective organization. Somebody said the 60s. Someone said the 80s. What are you referring to in the 60s, Coco? What are you referring to in the 80s, Junior? Was the Million Man March effective? The numbers were impressive, but what did it do? What lasting effect did it have? What change? What systemic change did it bring? Okay, so Coco, you're referring to civil rights, okay, from the 60s, okay? So I'm asking Holton, the survivor, what effective change has it brought? I don't think it's hard for us to pull numbers together and have people out in the street. Look at what we did when Trayvon Martin was killed. Look at what we did when George Floyd was killed. Look at what we did when Sandra Bland was killed. Look at what we did. We can get people out in the streets. That's not the problem here. That's not the problem here. So RBJ said back in the 1900s, Marcus Garvey made a world impact. Okay, but 1900s. That's the last time you're saying we had an effective change. I'm just saying we have a lot of symbolic changes, right? They're just symbolism, or as we would say, a nothing burger. We had a lot of that, but when was the last time we did anything effective? So to keep us with toxic narratives, hurtful narratives, negative narratives benefits everybody else but us. We don't organize. We don't like each other. We don't have respect for each other. And our relationships with one another is hurting. And a lot of that is coming from the narratives we keep putting out. We have put a verbal curse on our community, and it has to come back to us. Because that's what the universe does. It's a boomerang effect. It has to come back to us. Change your language. Change your mindset. Change your discussions. I'm saying. Every nation of people have ish among them that they don't like. Ish among them they think makes them look bad. But not every nation of people promotes it widely so the world can see it. Not every nation of people takes to social media so that the world can see how they feel about the disgruntled members or the disgruntled situations in their community. Not every nation does that. Not every nation criticizes their own. Not every nation fights with their own publicly. We all have things about us that we don't like. When I say criticize their own, I'm talking about publicly. That's what I'm talking about. Not every nation puts it out there for the world to be a part of a public conversation, public discourse that hurts us. But we do it, and we do it so readily. And we take the people among us that are doing the same thing that we're doing, and we put them up on pedestals, and we say, oh, you got to listen to them. Telling the truth. They're telling the truth. But we don't realize that truth is witchery. We don't realize that truth that's being put out there that comes with a lot of negative energy attached to it actually hurts us as a community. MMM gave a head count to the government. I'm just saying. Listen, family, I want you to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification so you can know when I'm going live. I'm going to need y'all to share the video because I have not been live and our numbers should be higher. So I'm going to need y'all to hit the like button, share the video. I thank each and every one of you guys for commenting on the video. That is so important, right? That's so important for the engagement so the algorithms can work, right? But I need y'all to do that. And again, this is not a personal attack toward anybody. This is critical discourse. This is conversation that we have to have. This is helping us to stay on track with our conversation so we can make sure our communication is effective and not destructive. I'm not going to sit up here and criticize anybody for their sexuality, who you decide to be with, who you decide to marry. That is your business. That is your business. I'm more interested in us standing together. I'm more interested in us as a whole changing the narrative. People will get to where they need to be at in their due time. Listen, I used to wear weaves. I used to wear units. That's what they call them. It was wigs, but they call them units because they all fancy and look all real. I used to wear all those things as well. People get to where they're going in their own time. When we can deal in truth, when we can say, I am showing up this way because this within me. And I'm ready to make a change. I'm ready to love the essence of me. I'm ready to love me in my Blackness. I'm ready to love me in my kinky hair. I'm willing to love me with my full body. I'm willing to love me and my full lips, my broad nose, my dark skin. It doesn't matter. When you start loving you and who you are, this is when we initiate change, because change has to come from us, the individual. If not, we're just going to repeat the narratives that are given to us. We're going to uphold the machine that's working against us. We're going to take in all that negativity and allow it to shape who we are as an individual person. It all starts individually. So I'm not interested in criticizing anybody. I'm not interested in cutting people down. I'm interested in edifying. I'm interested in uplifting. And that is a decision I made. So I do understand that with this decision, I am going to lose people, and I'm okay. I'd rather lose those people that rather be red herrings. I'd rather lose those people that rather be negative. I'd rather lose those people that think that they're woke, but they're really asleep because they're actually hurting our community. I'd rather lose them and work with people who want to change themselves, because the work has to start with us. The work has to start with us. I would have to agree with you. This sister says, it's not the narrative that is the problem. Look at operas. It is us believing in the narrative that is the problem, right? But that's what I mean when I say it's witchcraft. That's what I mean when I say we're being possessed in mind control. Because once you have believed in it, you have lost your mind. Once you start projecting it, you're controlled. You're possessed. Once you start doing what everyone else is doing, you no longer have control of yourself. But they convince you to believe that you're making your own decision. They convince you to believe that if you get your, and I'm just using it as an example, ladies, as an example, just as an example. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. Don't internalize it. But just as an example, if they're making you believe that BBLs is the way to go, we're going to be getting BBLs. If they lead you to believe that wearing weaves and wigs and lashes is the way to go, we're going to be doing these things. If it leads you to believe to make up your face every day so you don't look like how you really look, we're going to believe those things. And then they tell us it's okay. Love yourself. You get to do whatever you want to do. Right? And we're not really dealing with the underlying work underneath it. Now, I'm not telling you not to go ahead and get your BBLs and your tummy tucks. I'm not telling you that. I'm not telling you not to wear your weaves and your wigs and your lashes. I'm not telling you that. I'm not telling you not to bleach your skin. I'm not telling you that. If you make that decision, I'm asking you to really, truly examine your why behind it. Don't say because I can and I want to, because that's a cop-out. I want you to really examine your why behind it. Now they got men out there wanting to get their knees extended so they can be taller. Really examine your why behind it. Now they got men out there wanting to get fake prosthetic dinglings because they want to be bigger. Really examine your why behind it. Because the narrative says that short men are not attractive. That's what the narrative says. It doesn't mean it's the truth. That's the narrative that you bought into. So now your mind is possessed. The narrative says nobody wants somebody who's small. Right? That's what the narrative says. So now you want to go and mess with your dingling and get something bigger. So women do it and men do it. We're both doing it. We're both doing it. I'm just saying. I'm using it as an example that do whatever you want to do, but you must examine the why behind why you do what you do. I'm just saying. Listen, family, I love y'all. I love you. Have a great night, y'all. Everyone's like, wow. I'm saying. I'm just giving that as an example. It's not a bad example. How is that a bad example? Don't just say bad example. Tell me how it's a bad example. The things that you believe about yourself will control the decisions that you make in life. How is that a bad example? I'm going to stay for Harumi to tell me how that's a bad example, because we're going to have a conversation. Let's have a conversation about it, Harumi. How is that a bad example? If you believe the things that they tell you about who you are, it's okay to be on Instagram and twerking and having your butt showing because everyone is doing it. Because everyone is doing it, and you're not thinking why you want to get out there and do it too. You're not thinking about your why. How is that a bad example? I'm saying be critical in your thought and everything that you do. That's what I'm saying. Be critical in your thought and everything that you do. Don't just tell me, please. There's no big deal anymore. Everybody's doing it. Just because everybody's doing it doesn't make it right. Doesn't mean it's right. See, this is the red herring. See what I mean? This is the red herring. I asked Harumi a question, and that's Harumi's response. That's Harumi's response. Okay, y'all, I'm done. Good night. I know when I had enough. I know when to log the hell off, and now it's time to just log the hell off. Y'all have a blessed night. Hopefully, I have enough interest and energy to come back on here more consistently. Officer Stebbin wants me to be more consistent. He's like, don't tap out, don't tap out, don't tap out, don't tap out. But you know what? It's really hard because the negativity is thick, man. The negativity is thick. And if you don't pay attention with the negativity, it will consume you. And I don't want to be consumed by, you're right, Kelvin. You're absolutely right, Kelvin. I don't want to be consumed by the negativity. So y'all, sisters and brothers, be blessed. I really do love y'all. I really do. Have a great night.